G'day, Big V listeners. We are still with our Youth League here, Youth League 2 men, talking about the value and some of the better players here coming off the bench for some of these Youth League 2 men's teams. Now, Mark, I'm going to ask you this really quick about, the added value or the importance of a strong bench.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Ted. As a coach, I think both of us understand the importance of having some weapons coming off your bench.
Yep.
Might be a young kid who provides a heap of energy and does those little things. It might be a reliable shooter coming off your bench, or a really strong rebounder. Maybe you've got a defensive specialist coming off your bench.
Yep.
Either way, I feel like having that depth is super important if you want to go into a finals run. You've got to have that support in case someone gets injured, in case there's someone in foul trouble. You've got to have that support around those starters.
Absolutely. Now, some of these guys that we're about to talk about are probably, second, third, fourth highest in points per game for their team. So
they're probably knocking on the coach's door, Ted, asking, "Can I get the start yet, coach?"
Maybe. Well, let's delve in. Let's go with Sevco. It's a brand new team into the league. They got Jesse Onbega at the moment, who's probably their most dominant player. He's averaging 22 points, but sort of by his side, averaging 12 minutes per game. 8 points. We've got Daniel Clifton.
Yeah, so really interesting looking at him week by week. He started with very low minutes. I don't think he was overly a huge part of the rotation early, but he had a 22-point explosion against Albury in 25 minutes coming off the bench. And,
very good.
And ever since then, I think he's got a little bit more trust in the coaching staff and worked his way up, which is what you want with some of those young up-and-coming players.
Absolutely, and the team, they're doing quite well. They're sitting not really comfortably on top of the ladder. They've got the same record as Whittlesea, but they're 6-2.
Wow, in a very close conference there, too. Very close conference.
Very close.
What a start for a new team.
Absolutely. Now we'll touch on Bellarine very quickly because we have a Mitchell Smith, who is averaging 11 points per game. He's the third highest scorer for this team.
Yeah, doesn't mind letting it fly, 4 attempts a game. Not shooting it very well to start the year. I think both him and his coach will be thinking the same thing. Let's try and bump those percentages up. But, he is very consistent, averaging that 11 points, that 3 rebounds, including, his best game's only 13 points against Surf Coast to go with his 4 assists. But it just shows his consistency.
Yeah.
Which coaches love. They love to know what they're getting from him.
Absolutely. Now, Sunbury, who are sitting 4th at the moment in this, like you said, very close Terrell conference. They're 5-2 for their record. And we've got 2 players, I guess we can say?
2 players, and one who I really want to highlight in particular.
Go for it.
Owen Stevens.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, I'm not the world's best coach here. Tell me, how is this young man still coming off the bench? He's averaging 20 points a game to go with 2 steals, 2 assists. So he does do other things out there. Is he not turning up to training or something, Ted?
Don't know what it is, mate. I have no idea. What are they doing there in Sunbury?
Don't know, but he's averaging almost a point a minute. He's been brilliant for the Jets. And, including a 40-point explosion against Southern Peninsula at the start of the year, I'm pretty sure that was. And then 2 21-point performances against Whittlesea and Bellarine.
Look, it's hard. It must be hard to pick him up as their first sub because, he's fresh legs.
Yeah, he could be a defender's worst nightmare.
He would be. And he's going for Australia's way as well. Like, he not shy of the look of his own shot.
Nah, let that thing fly, young fella. It's working. And he's supported off the Sunbury bench by what would be their 4th highest scorer. So they've got 30 points coming off the bench straight away here, Ted.
Not bad.
At 10.8 points a game, David Angove. He had a big game with 17 points and 6 steals against Chelsea. But he's been, once again, him and Owen Stevens off the bench, be pretty stoked to get that 31 points a game.
Absolutely. Now, quickly, we'll touch on Chelsea. We've got Dylan Howick.
Yeah, Dylan Howick. Yeah, in what has been sort of I can only describe it as a disappointing start to the year for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think they're a fairly young squad, but Dylan Howick has been a shining light. 11 points a game and 6 rebounds a game off the bench. A couple of big games against Melton and Pakenham, but does it always flirts with that double-double, and he's someone that Chelsea are relying on to keep them in games.
Absolutely. Look, there's a lot more here that we can talk about, but unfortunately our time's up. We will continue this very, very soon. Catch you later, everybody.